Welcome to the Disneyville podcast, episode 27.
Yay. So today we were talking about underrated things at Epcot. Ooh. And you may be thinking, wait, I thought they just did this. No, that was actually Hollywood Studios. So I'm sure most of you guys knew. But yeah, it was a few episodes ago. And we genuinely, that was one of my favorite episodes to prepare for, to film, like all of it.
And all of their suggestions, too, were also really
That was,
good, too.
I think, my favorite part, because you guys had so many hidden gem, either spots or like sweet treats or, whatever. It was so cool. So we're doing it today with Epcot. And I glanced. Have you glanced yet at what people sent in?
No.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, man, I wish I would have thought of any of these.
This happened at Hollywood Studios, too. We started making a list and checking it twice of all the things that we want to do next time we go. Also, I'm glad that we're doing it in this order, this random order. I feel like we always do everything, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios.
In order of opening day.
Yeah, it's just logical. Let's get crazy. Let's do Disney Springs next.
Whoa!
And then the Polynesian Resort, and then
underrated things to do with Polynesian.
Universal Orlando.
We probably
and then
could come up with underrated things to do at Disney resorts, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. We can do that.
Oh yeah. Anyway, all right. So that is the task at hand.
We're your weird hosts. I'm Tyler. This is Jessica. We forgot to do that, but here
Sorry.
we are. Okay. Shall we dive right in?
Let's dive. So we last time decided to do our list together versus him having lists and me having lists, just because half of ours overlapped anyway. So
and this way we both get to talk about stuff.
Just chat.
We're just chatting.
We're in the mood to record. Can you tell?
I'm in the mood to take a nap is what I'm in the mood for.
In the mood for food. Okay. One of the first ones that came to my mind that I feel like is kind of underrated, and I don't know that anyone would ever have this on their list because it's very specific and kind of weird, is grabbing a snack or a drink at Sunshine Seasons in the Land Pavilion and just people watching there. It got started for us long ago because we were getting the breakfast bounty platter there years ago, because at the time there was no quick service breakfast options anywhere. And
we were starving.
Yeah.
Getting snippy.
Oh.
And we were like, we need coffee and we need eggs. We need them now. And so we just, one of our very first trips. The same thing happened at Starring Rolls Cafe in Hollywood Studios.
We were hungry and snippy.
It's not there anymore. Oh. But we were, anyway. So I think this one is more a nostalgia thing for us than it is actually a good recommendation.
Let's start strong.
It is fun though. It's sort of got the classic Epcot vibes.
Yeah, I was like, you get to take in all of the weirdness of what really that pavilion was kind of originally like. Mm-hmm. It really hasn't changed much when you look up above you.
The hot air balloons.
Yeah, that really have nothing to do with the anything.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, but not really. And not only that, but you can get, you'd get a highlight beer there, pop that bad boy open, and we just sit
hang out,
and hang. We'd get some snacks. And the other thing it's been useful for, if you have young kids that can't yet ride Soarin', we would just do rider switch. And so one of us would be with the younger kid there, hanging out at Sunshine Seasons.
Eating, relaxing.
Yeah, and then we just swap. And it worked out really well. You're in the AC. My only complaint about that pavilion in general is that you can't bring strollers. Now, I understand, because if you added strollers to that mix, that would be an absolute mess.
With the one elevator. Yeah.
Well, and you could, it would just be, a mess. So I get it, but also it's we're going in there. We got to go park the stroller a mile away.
Remember to cover it up for the rain. Remember to cover it up from the sun, or else the seatbelt get too hot.
That's right.
Yeah. It's there is definitely something nostalgic about that, though. I think both from our perspective and then also just the Disney perspective, because it hasn't changed all that much. I just recently saw a very, very early photo of nobody in there at Sunshine Seasons. And I'm like, it really hasn't changed all that much. It's definitely changed, but one of my favorite areas, because it's always pretty packed, but over in the area over by the Living with the Land queue, I feel like there's always a bunch of open seats. And so you can kind of sit there.
Yeah.
You kind of got the wide view of the whole thing. You got Sunshine Seasons. You've got people on the escalators trying to figure out how those work. And they always go to one side and then have to go back around to the other side. And then you've got, the actual eating area. You've got people getting on Living with the Land. You've got the noise. You've got there is something to be said about it.
Yeah. Kind of gives Kings Island vibes. If you live anywhere in the Midwest, you've been to Kings Island. Not in a bad way. I don't know.
Now, we'll give it the caveat that if you're in Epcot, there's a lot of really, really amazing places to eat. This is maybe not the best place to eat, but that said...
Hey, I said snacks.
Get some snacks.
Get some snackies.
Get you a highlight. So my first is going to be Awesome Planet. Same pavilion.
Yes.
I love this show. It's Ty Burrell. What's not to love? It's all about,
He was who? Phil Dunphy in Modern Family,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. But it's all about conservation. And they used to have an old one with Timon and Pumbaa, and then they replaced it with this awesome planet. It's just fun. It's a nice, 15-minute maybe little
I think it's 10.
relaxing
I looked
break.
it up. Did you hear me listen to it on YouTube? I wanted to make sure I was remembering certain things about it correctly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of presented as almost as though he's a real estate agent, which is funny because his character in Modern Family was.
And he's selling you the earth.
He's selling you the earth. Like, oh, it's move-in ready, blah, blah, blah. But it's still under construction, cutesy jokes like that. But it basically goes through all the different geographies and climates in our world. And it is stunning. Even rewatching it in this like very clearly illegally videoed video on YouTube, it's like tiny on the screen. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So I just feel like it's one that's a feast for the eyes.
Feast your eyes.
That's right. And it's underrated. We've never had to wait for it. I mean,
Oh my gosh, no.
No
They've got
one's ever gone in there.
The weird carpeted walls on your way in. Like
talk about old school Epcot.
You don't see a lot of carpeted walls anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's going old school there, and that's really cool. But yeah, I just love it. And it's a nice air conditioning break, and it's just a nice little funny, fun, informative little video.
Also informative, inspiring.
Yeah.
It's good. But yeah, what was it before? It was Wild About Safety, right?
No. That was.
I think they just used the same characters for their Wild About Safety
what was
stuff.
it called? Gosh, that's gonna drive me crazy.
So we looked it up. It was previously Circle of Life, an environmental fable.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, but they give out like the Wild About Safety cards.
Yeah, or it's on the buses.
On the buses, and it's Timon and Pumbaa. It's like But listen to this. It opened in 1995, the day before my birthday, but 6 years later. And then it closed in 2018. And it was sponsored for many of those years by Nestle, if you're curious.
Interesting.
And then it was succeeded.
Succeeded. It seceded from the
That's right. It did Timon and Pumbaa
from the land
seceded,
pavilion. It seceded. So anyway, that's a goodie. That's one of my favorites.
And I think most people don't even know it's there.
You walk right by it.
When you come in and go right and you have to go all the way around, you're walking right by it. It's a pretty unassuming little door. And then most of the time you're in there to do Soarin' anyway.
Right.
Or maybe Living with the Land. Okay. I'm clearly hungry. I was hungry when I made this list and I'm still. Get the freshly made caramel corn in the Germany Pavilion. I've realized, I think the first time I ever got it, it's like Werther's Original or something that sponsors it.
Yeah.
And I think they still do. And they have like factory sealed ones. And I think we were just like trying to go quickly. So I grabbed it. We ate it and it was pretty good. But then more recently, we discovered, what are we doing? Wait a minute. What's that line for? Oh, that line is for the freshly made and scooped warm, oh my gosh, my mouth is watering,
so
caramel
good.
corn. It is the best. Listen, I used to live in Chicago. Garrett's popcorn is very good. This trumps that like to a T. It is so, so good, especially when it's warm. We all could not stop. Do you remember the last time we got it? We were just like,
and what else did you learn about it that last time?
That I can't be trusted with it.
We already knew that. No, about how you can get the refills. Remember?
You're thinking of the maple popcorn. That cannot be true in the caramel corn community.
Oh, okay. I was definitely thinking about the maple popcorn. So wait, what are you talking about? I was in Canada in my head.
Wait, now, okay, add that to the list. Let's talk about the maple popcorn. Caramel corn in Germany. Inside the Werther's Original.
There. Yeah, I was thinking about
You did have dead eyes while I was telling the whole thing. You were like, what? Are you even?
I was, flavored popcorn.
So let's talk about that. The maple corn, is that what you'd call it? It sounds wrong. Maple corn.
The maple popcorn. Yeah, that sounds right.
I think we've talked about it somewhat recently, or maybe it was in vlogs. But I discovered that when you have a popcorn bucket, you can get your refill, not just at regular popcorn stands, but at that maple popcorn stand too. That blew my mind because it's kind of like a kettle corn. There's someone walking by and making eye contact, and now I feel weird. What are all these lights in that person's room? Anyway, it is delicious. Great little just general Disney secret.
Yeah.
I don't know how many other flavored popcorns they have out and about. In Hollywood Studios, over in Galaxy's Edge, they have that like colorful popcorn. I don't think that would be included either. Kat Saka's kettle corn. Kat Saka's.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know.
So,
I'm not a popcorn connoisseur. I'm not
into regular popcorn. I could pass unless it's covered in butter. Real butter, not the nonsense.
See, you know what I like?
But caramel corn?
You know what I like though?
What?
Like when we make homemade popcorn, like we'll do it in like an air popper. and then you wait like 3 days, and it's so much better on day. Well, maybe 2. I'll give it 2 days.
It gets like stale and weird.
Stale. It's like,
but we use olive oil too, so
olive oil.
It's
just
a
little bit of salt.
vibe.
I could eat big buckets of. I don't know why that's so good to me, but that is
big buckets of
here we
popcorn.
are. Okay, so I have actually 2 beers on this list if you're a beer person, and they're both a little bit different, and they're both really, really good. So they have it varies. It's not always there, but a lot of times they'll have it at La Cava del Tequila, or they'll have it on like the Mexico Pavilion when they do the festivals. They'll have their own booth. The Tulum beer, I don't know what the brewery is, but it's called like Tulum. It's made with seawater, and it's so good. It's very, very slight, but you can almost taste like the ocean when you drink this beer. It is so good and so different. I've never had a beer like it anywhere, but I really, really like it. And so whenever it's there, I always get it. And so I don't even know. I could probably find it elsewhere too, but it's very, very good. So
what they're not telling you though is that it's actually just seawater.
It's just seawater. I don't drink enough seawater.
They mix a little Bud Light with mostly seawater.
Yeah, it's like a little salty. It's very interesting, but it's really, really good. So if you're a beer person, give it a try.
Well, next time we go and you get it, I'll try a sip.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
The last time we were there, it wasn't there though. But I know it kind of comes and goes. So hopefully next time. And
that's how they get you to want it more.
Right. Then in the China Pavilion, they have a jasmine beer, which is like jasmine tea in it. I don't know if it's jasmine tea, if it's just the jasmine plant or whatever in it. But again, it's very, very subtle, but it's so good. I really like it. So both of those beers are like 2 very underrated. I don't hear a lot of people talk about either one of them, but they're very good. And I can't find them anywhere else except Epcot.
They've got a stranglehold on the beer of the world. Let's take a moment to chat about the festival pavilions in Epcot.
Okay.
So there's the Odyssey one, which is over by the new Space 220 and all of that. What?
We have to stop. We have to pause.
Let it be known that Tyler Braun is currently, he just told me we had to stop. And I'm like, what? Were we not recording? Like, what? Thinking something's wrong. He is not in his Epcot shirt. He just changed behind the camera. He's coming back.
Now we're good.
Looking
Welcome
good.
to the Disneyville podcast, episode 27.
Hey, both of ours are really good. Etsy finds.
These were the last time we
Yours is appropriate. Very Olympic-y.
Oh, that's true. The opening ceremonies are tonight, the night we're recording this.
Yeah.
So excited to watch those. Actually, I think they're happening right now, but we're going to watch them tonight.
Festival pavilions. That's very appropriate. So there's the Odyssey Building, which is over by where like Space 220 is and all that, test track. And it's been there forever. I mean, that building's been there maybe since its opening, if not close to.
Yeah.
And it used to be, when we first started going, not open at all. Like maybe bathrooms in there, but I'm not even sure.
I think companies would like rent it out to use it as like a.
Which makes sense, like considering what it looks like inside. There's kind of the big open-ish area. So that has kind of become a more permanent, at least as of right now, festival building where they'll have information about the festival, whatever. But they'll usually have food and drinks for sale in there at the like windows they have, bathrooms, etc. And for a while, didn't they have whatever the new Epcot was going to be?
Right.
They had basically previews of what that would look like.
Epcot.
And it was really cool. It's like Epcot 360.
The Epcot Experience or something like that. And it had like all the walls were turned into screens. And so you could see like this big immersive room. But they like built this room inside the big room. But then other times, like now, I think it's just back to being open. They've got a lot of times during festivals, they'll have festival merch on one side and then just seating. And sometimes there'll be people in there performing. But it just it really is just
I've never seen anyone in there performing.
There was one time we walked in and like there's all those tables set up and there was somebody sitting up on the little stage on the side. It was just like a person up there sitting singing.
Interesting.
You don't know. But I'm like, it truly is a flex space. Like it is, they move it and change it and do whatever they want.
However they want.
All throughout the year.
But
that's one of several.
Yeah, exactly. So the other one I always think of is one that really is only open some of the time.
Very rarely.
The one over between the UK and the Canada Pavilion.
Oh, I was
You kind of go back down a corridor and usually that area is straight up closed. Like there's a gate. So you wouldn't even know that this building was there at all. And it's crazy. I think that's what's so weird about it to me is that it's huge. You walk in and it is absolutely humongous.
It's like an expo hall.
It is. I mean, I think it literally is an expo hall and they only use it for some festivals at some times, but there's sometimes performers in there. Sometimes there's merch for sale. There's usually, if it's open, there's usually like food and stuff for sale. What are you laughing at?
One of my favorite stories of all time in Disney happened here. I can't put it up because I feel like you might be able to see the guy's face and I don't want to do that to him. But there was this time I was filming somebody playing piano, the woman who played in the UK. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Oh my gosh, she was there for like 30 years. I can't think of her name. But she was playing.
It must have been Christmas time. Don't you think? It was like Festival of the Holidays? Because I feel like she was doing Christmas music, but I might have made that up.
I don't know. But I have this great shot set up, and I'm filming, and this guy just walks in so slowly, so nonchalant, and parks right in front of my camera. And it wasn't a big deal. I was just filming her playing piano, but I just it was such a slow walk. It seemed so deliberate, and it wasn't. Just
Tyler, you might be able to do it and blur his face.
Okay, but it was just hilarious.
It's not to be mean. It was just so funny.
And he just didn't see me, but he just so nonchalantly walked up and just planted.
It's the way you have
right
to see it. He just Oh, it was fantastic. It's the way that when he landed, he was also trying to get a photo or video. So when he walked and then slowly turned and stopped and then like readjusted his legs to spread them a little more to get the perfect shot.
It was great.
It was genuinely comedy
so
gold.
Fun.
Comedy gold.
Because that was when your brother Michael was there, and we laughed forever about
for too long.
Anyway, that's one of my favorite stories there.
That was at that festival pavilion.
Carol Stein. That was
there
her
it
name.
is.
Carol Stein. She's the one. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was her, and I was filming her. And anyway, that was just very funny. So yeah, the other one is the Wonders of Life Pavilion, which when we first started going, they would open it up for the festivals, and it's so cool being in there. It's this big, huge, white domed building, and it's gold on the outside.
Gold. Yeah,
it's gold on the outside, and then on the inside, the ceiling's all white. And it's sort of like a 1980s shopping mall feel. It's so cool.
That is it. It literally feels like an old shopping mall. Have you guys ever gotten lost in the dark hole of, what's it called? There's a term for it, but basically abandoned or deserted places like malls. There's a term for that specific thing or feeling.
Sad.
Yeah. I think that's part of the definition of it, but it is just wild and fun to look at, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, you go into that one. They haven't had it open when we've been there in a while.
It's been a while, which is a shame because that's my favorite of the festival pavilions, but the festivals are usually in World Showcase and it's pretty far, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's literally right next to Guardians of the Galaxy. Cosmic Rewind. Yeah.
And now they've got the new one opening up. We haven't seen the inside yet because the construction walls were still up last time. Mm-hmm. The 10-year project of getting that done. But anyway, so we'll have to look inside that next time we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many different festival pavilions there at Epcot, and they're all kind of cool in their own way. They're all kind of nostalgic. They're all kind of like walking through time a little bit. It's pretty cool. Speaking of the abandoned places, this was years ago, and now I want to find it. There was this artist who did all these renderings of like if Walt Disney World was abandoned.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was so cool. And it was like, all the vines growing all over everything. And like, it basically just looked like an abandoned theme park this artist did. It was so cool. I'll have to find those pictures.
Cool and a little haunting.
Like if all the humans just disappeared, what it would look like in like 50 years. Mm. Anyway.
Well, if we keep this up, we might be on our way.
One little spark.
Also, really quickly, everyone say goodbye to our little Mark here. It's been there for a long time.
If you're watching.
I'm planning on painting it next week, so.
Well, okay. Hold him to it.
Yeah. This will be the last time you see our little Mark there. It's sort of become a part of the show.
Everyone's going to be sad.
Bye,
Put
Mark.
a little tiny frame around it.
See, it's intentional. But yeah, I haven't painted it yet because I literally have like a whole to-do list of things that need to be painted around here. I'm like, well, if I'm going to bust out the paint, get the paintbrush, do the whole thing, I'm going to make sure that I'm literally boring you to yawning.
No, I'm just naturally tired.
I was like, I'm going to wait until I get it and I'm going to do it all at once. So anyway, everyone can say goodbye to their...
Goodbye, little buddy. Should have named him.
Okay, one of my favorite little areas, and I don't even know if this counts, but I'm going to count it. The little area with the glass where they sell swords in the UK pavilion. It's not really even a thing, but I really like that little hallway there.
You telling me if someone said, what are some underrated things to do? You'd be like, let me tell you about this.
They have them displayed very nicely. I want to buy one. I don't need a sword, though.
How are you going to get it home? No way TSA approves that.
I'm going to throw that on my back and ride horseback all the way home. Yeah. I don't know. I just like that little area.
Interesting.
But anyway, if you go past the little sword area, the little garden area back there, I also really love. The little quiet area behind the shops in the UK pavilion. There's a couple little benches there. Sometimes they'll have like the garden rocks, or not the garden rocks, just the little concerts there with the band and stuff. So it's not always quiet, but a lot of times throughout the day it's quiet. There's not a lot of people back there, and it's just a nice quiet place to sit and relax.
You can sometimes see, I think there's a cast member entrance area right behind there, around to the right. And so you can sometimes see characters leaving, coming and going, which is really cool. And I think last time we were there, ice cream or something and enjoyed it back there, just sitting like under a tree. Like it is a really pretty area that you really don't see if you're walking by. And even walking through some of the pavilion, you don't necessarily know that it kind of opens up a little bit.
Back in the back, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, did you guys know that there is this free little like sticker book, scavenger hunt, little activity book? I'm going to say for kids, but it's for anyone. It just sits on a stand right when you got off the Finding Nemo ride in the Seas Pavilion. It's right there. It's kind of dark in there, you know, so I feel like most people don't even see it. It's always stocked. Genevieve looks forward to grabbing that every time.
Yeah.
And she'll do it all. There's like little stickers you put on certain pages. There's things to learn and read about. It is adorable. And it's so random. Like they don't have that anywhere else in Disney. And I'm like, they have versions of things,
right,
but usually you have to pay for them, like the scavenger hunt. You have to pay for the darn thing, which really means you're just buying the souvenir at the end.
Plate or whatever.
But nonetheless, that is still fun. But yeah, it's truly free. It's always there. And I just feel like it's such a cute little thing for kids to do. Because I feel like some kids are really into animals and some aren't.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the perfect little thing where, like, if you've got a few kids and one of them's super into animals and wants to look at all the fish and the other's like kind of bored, it's like, all right, then you do this book.
Well, and I because they have the kid cot there too. That's always a big thing with our kids. But this is just another free little thing that you can just grab, and like our 2-year-old likes doing the stickers doing whatever and scribbling, and then the older one like actually likes doing it. So
yeah, it's
a
just
good
so
little
cute.
yeah.
I hope they never stop. I hope they would like. It'd be cool if in one area of every park they had something like that.
Yeah,
because this one's obviously themed for the seas. It's got Dory and Nemo in it. But wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah, there's several areas where they could do something like that.
It'd be neat if they did one of those in every country. Or if they're going to do the Kid Cot things in the countries, maybe in each of the worlds have a little booklet.
Do they still sell the kids'
That is
passport?
genius. Okay.
I feel like I haven't seen it
in a few years.
They have the Kid Cot like little cards now that you can collect, and you put it in like the.
It's sponsored by Ziploc, so that you get a little Ziploc bag, which is actually genius.
And that's cute. But I feel like they used to do the passport
You'd sell
thing.
them though, or they'd sell them.
I feel like I haven't seen that in a while.
Well, I bet we could find one on eBay.
What would we do with it though? Stamp it. I don't have a stamp. Stamp it.
You can't just do that. There's a lot of paperwork.
Should I say that? Stamp it. Oh, okay. This is one of my favorite little areas. The mini trains in Germany. I love those little trains.
I love those
End
trains.
of thought. Next. I don't have to explain it to you. They're cool. Next.
I love that.
But there's something about it that's so cute, and I love that you can walk through the middle of it, and the fact they have all the tunnels and the little villages and stuff. I just makes me happy. All right, it makes me happy.
It is very cute. Your grandpa was into that kind of thing.
Yeah, he loved model trains. He had a whole like this huge table in his basement. It must have been like 25 feet by 8 feet. It was massive, and he had all these
in the I was like, where did they
in
fit
his basement?
in the basement?
Yeah, like he built this table, and he was working on it when he passed away. And I don't know that he ever finished it. I don't know if anybody has a picture
Whatever
of that.
happened to that?
I think my grandma got rid of all the trains, which made me very sad.
Oh, you should ask your aunt if there are any pictures, or your mom.
Yeah, I don't know. This is before the time we had cameras in our pockets. You know what I mean?
Are you kidding me? That was the grandpa that filmed everything under the sun.
This is true.
There's no way there's not video.
I have all of his VHS tapes. I've scanned them all in. I don't
Remember?
think I have them.
What a shame.
Yeah, unless they're, I don't know. I'll have to look. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, so I think maybe that's kind of part of the nostalgia there too. But yeah, and he built like all these little towns and villages and stuff like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
What a cute hobby.
Right?
And the grandkids would love it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's just one of those. There was something recently I was talking about that I wanted to collect. So that way when I'm a grandma, I'll have all kinds of them and I can show the grandkids. What was it?
You were talking about me.
Oh, your little village, of
Yeah.
like things around the world.
Yeah.
And I said we'd put it on a table in the basement.
Yeah.
And put little like twinkle lights around it. And
Yeah, every time we travel to a new
world.
place, like if there's a very big monument there, like the Colosseum or something like that, I buy the
weenie.
Right. Yeah. The weenie before the weenie.
The original weenie.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a time-sensitive one because we've got to move on because we can't stop making jokes about the last one. Because it either is about to be, I think it's about to be closed.
Right. So we'll go ahead and say what we're talking about
Yeah,
now.
the Journey into Imagination Pavilion, if you will. You can go in the exit. And I mean, there's like the little gift shop there, but then there's all the fun stuff to play with. So if you don't want to ride the ride, or if for some reason the ride's either broken down or like weirdly long line, you could just go in there and play. And I feel like for kids to get their wiggles out, they can go on the little dance floor.
Yep.
There's that little computer, there's a bunch of them, but like these computer banks where you can design your own Figment and have it sent to your email. And we did that a couple times ago, and it sent to our email. I'm like, I could print that out, print it out, put Gigi's on her little cork board in her room. Like, it's such a cute, free little memento.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the area where you can like conduct, and like if you put your hand up, it's high and whatever, and then Figment kind of moves around, so you can kind of conduct and it makes different noises. Then there's the area where there's the different square carpets, you can jump and all that kind of stuff. They've got a newish thing, I feel, or maybe I just have never really noticed it, where you can like it's like a panel.
It's like Simon,
right? Yeah.
Oh, but what a great game!
So, and then there's the DVC lounge there as well. So from what I know, in like April of this year, something like that, they filed a construction permit for that building. But normally construction permits are like a year, and this is going all the way through November of 2025. So people are speculating, the rumor mill's a rumorin', and it sounds like this is going to be a pretty big overhaul. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be the ride, the area after. Like, I'm guessing all of it is going to be
heart palpitations,
going to be fixed. My guess, though, is that Figment has become so big, they're probably going to revert a lot to the original one, not the Eric Idle version, the original Figment. Mm-hmm. I bet they're going to do a lot of
They're not going to do away with Figment. There's no doubt.
No, but I think he's having a moment.
Figment popcorn bucket is still, what is it, 2 years later?
Oh, yeah.
Never would. I wondered, Disney obviously didn't expect that to be such a thing.
Oh, I know.
I mean,
well, I think maybe they did.
Yeah, maybe, but nonetheless, turns out it was.
So that's if you're going right now, but I have a feeling at D23 coming up, they're going to announce what it is they're doing, but it's a really, really long construction permit. Also, this made me think, I cannot believe we didn't have this on the list. Speaking of those little computers, in the backside of Mission Space, there's a playground there.
Oh, yeah.
That is a very underrated thing. And they had the computers there, and we tried to do the same exact thing, and it did not work. So the fact that Figment one still works is interesting.
Pretty
but talk
amazing.
About that playground.
Okay, let me talk about that playground. I was actually almost put on here that outdoor playground that's right outside of Creations shop, but I didn't because I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like people know about it if you have kids, and if you don't, you don't. But that one at the exit of Mission Space I've never in my life known it exists in all these years.
Because you walk right by it as you're exiting.
Yeah, and we also just don't often ride Mission Space. So it really is like completely hidden away.
That whole area when they're like, Mission Control. It's in the Mission Control area. They're like, well, if your rider doesn't want to ride this, they can go help us at Mission Control.
Okay.
That's the area.
So yeah, the playground is super cool. I mean, it's like dark, but there's like just the right amount of light, and they can climb up super high. There's little slides. Both of our girls at different ages were having fun in there. Yeah, there's tunnels. It kind of reminds me of the playground inside the Dumbo ride.
Right, yeah.
In a way.
Smaller, but.
Yeah, but very similar, honestly.
Yeah, and it's air conditioning, so a break for the parents. You get to sit and relax while they run around for a few minutes in the AC. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
Get their wigglies out.
I'm curious, you put on here the Lotus Blossom Cafe. Mm-hmm. We have not eaten at the Lotus Blossom Cafe in a very long time, so maybe we should not. Your argument.
My argument is I remember it being delicious,
it was
and
really
I really wanted to go last time, and we could not squeeze it in just the way our schedule worked. Yeah. The few times we were in Epcot, it just didn't work out. So I'm just willing it into existence that it's still delicious.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this with love. We always joke that it's like mall food court Chinese food, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I love
it. Was really good.
Like Panda Express, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. So, but I did see some people mention some specific things from, I think, this cafe technically that we'll talk about. And so that kind of tells me, okay, maybe it is still good.
Okay.
So take that. But if you don't know, it's the quick service restaurant in the China Pavilion. Mm-hmm. They're like prepackaged little ice creams, assuming they still have it.
Bring up, yeah.
There was like ginger flavor and lychee berry. Yeah, lychee. I don't know. And they were both so good. Yeah. Like so subtle and different and delicious. That ginger ice cream.
Oh, you're making me real hungry. That sounded so good. It was really, really good. So I'd be curious to try it again. We gotta move that up the list.
Right to the top.
To the friggin' moon. Okay, I've got two more really quick ones.
Mm-hmm.
One, all of the performers. Mm-hmm. The performers in all of the countries, it doesn't matter if they're the musicians, if they're acrobats, if they are mimes, if they're whatever, all around World Showcase, there are performers. And they are all so good. Mm-hmm. And so often they'll have a little crowd around them. People will kind of gather, but then so many people just walk right by them. And I'm like, you're missing gold here. This guy is standing on 24 chairs, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people are so talented. So just I feel like they can sometimes be underrated. Like, take a second. Like, I know you want to get to, Frozen Ever After or
Perfect Remy, yeah.
Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. But take like 2 minutes and just watch them. They're all so good.
They are. I mean, these are people that have never given up on their dreams, Yeah. I was just waiting to say that. No, they are so incredibly talented. And you're right. I think it's easy when you see street performers to think like, okay, we'll watch it for 30 seconds and then let's move on because this is not why we're here. But the streetmosphere is a big part of what makes Disney in general so magical. Mm-hmm. And think about this. I was joking about Kings Island. It's a more local, Midwestern, pretty big theme park. And I actually think they do a pretty good job. We haven't been in a while. It's kind of on our list to maybe go sometime in the fall. But when you compare theme parks that aren't Disney or Universal, when you compare Disney and Universal to other maybe more regional theme parks, I feel like a lot of what's missing in the regional theme parks is more of that feeling of the park being alive, like the streetmosphere and performers all everywhere you look. And Disney does such a good job of that. And so I think it can't be underappreciated because it really is a big part of what makes Disney Disney.
And I want them to bring back even more.
Me too.
Like they've started to bring back some, but even like pre, 2020, I feel like they had already started to drop off a lot of their, performers and stuff like that. I have some awesome footage from, I'm going to say 1989 from my grandfather, speaking of the one who films everything.
Yes.
And he's filming these musicians and they're getting, like, if I remember right, he's filming the musicians and then there's an actual, like, camera guy there filming them probably for, like, one of those old VHS, like, vacation planning tapes.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
he's filming the guy filming them. But it's like if I remember right, it's been so long, but I think it's like 2 or 3 musicians, like, in front of the UK Pavilion or something like that, playing and all that stuff. And then the guy's getting footage of it, whatever. It's like the classic, like.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much.
If I can find that footage on the YouTube version, we'll put that in because it was so cool. But even like when we first started going, they had the janitors, the jammers, is that what they were
jammers,
called? Jammers. And they'd just walk around and they had like the steel trash cans and they'd play. Like
I feel like they still play, but it's like maybe on the Canada stage, like the Maple Leaf stage, whatever they call that.
No, I'm talking about the guys like in Future World. Not the ones.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
And they would just like walk around. They were wearing like, janitor uniforms, but they would walk around and drum and stuff like that. I'm like, I feel like that's part of what makes the whole park feel alive. So I want them to do even more.
Yeah.
Do what you're doing more.
Okay. This is very specific, as have been many of the things we've mentioned. Very niche. No, it's not too terribly specific. Joffrey's has a stand when you are entering World Showcase from the front and you start going left towards Mexico. There's a Joffrey stand right there. And I've realized in recent trips, we stop at it a lot because we're usually like, okay, it's about time for an iced coffee, whatever. It'll be about that time. But that stand is so great because it almost always has a very short line, especially you're entering World Showcase where every line is so long for every snack or drink you could ever want. It's usually not terribly long. It always has a seasonal cold brew. And I think I've tried anytime we pass it, if there's some like fun, funky seasonal cold brew, I get it. And it's always really good. But they usually also have boozy ones. So if you want like a shaken Jamaican, but like really, really strong, I'm pretty sure you can get that kind of thing there too, if I'm remembering right. So I just feel like it's not totally underrated, but there are many Joffrey's areas and that is one of the better ones. And they also have like the cookies and the donuts out there too. Yeah. Now I want a flavored cold brew.
I also feel like, and I'm not even going to say it because I feel like a lot of times these are not running and or they're constantly changing, and I don't know where these stand right now. But the Canada and the China and not the France one anymore. The Canada and the China 360. I don't know where those stand right now. They were going to change them. They did change them.
You know what the map recently said for the Canada one? I was looking at like the Disney official map. It said that the Canada 360 show runs seasonally.
Okay, well, that's it, because remember, now they do, during the festivals, they'll use it as like a cider pavilion.
Oh, that is the place.
Right. So take this with a grain of salt, but if you get a chance to watch either of those, they're really good. I'm pretty sure they were supposed to update them. Maybe they did update them. I haven't looked into it in a while, but they were really good.
Well, the Canada one was updated with, didn't like Dan Levy and...
No, it was Martin Short? Or maybe Martin Short did the old one? And now it's Eugene Levy and
it's never
Catherine
open.
O'Hara.
It's never open when we're there.
Yeah. But I feel like, anyway, so those are good if you ever happen to catch them. But then my final one, it's underrated-ish, Living with the Land.
It's so good.
It's still good. It's still going on. If you guys are curious, it's still there.
Still happening.
All right, so let's switch gears here and let's start talking about your underrated Epcot places, things, experiences, etc. And if you want to get in on the conversation, you can go to our Instagram. It is at Disneyville Podcast. You can find it anywhere. We're on Facebook. We're on this.
We're on it all, baby. Search Disneyville and you'll find us.
Let's hear some of your guys's. Yours is guys's.
So T-Flow 1997 said, it's something that's underrated. Spice Road Table, underrated food. I love the calamari and a hidden gem to watch fireworks. Yes, I have never gotten to watch fireworks from Spice Road Table, but I mentioned in every episode, I'm dying to go back to Spice Road Table. The food was so good. You can almost always get a reservation. You could probably walk up many days, maybe not right at fireworks time, but you know what I mean.
What was the time that we went? We all went to Spice Road, and you stayed.
You were sick. It was the day before your marathon. You were actually sick. Remember, this was like 7 years ago or something crazy, and your mom was really tired.
And so you stayed.
I think I stayed.
Yeah, and I think we went back
alone, and I was just like, all right, I think I just ate. No,
I was
probably so happy to just have some alone. No, because I didn't have a kid yet. I had plenty of alone time.
Yeah, I don't know, because I was doing the dopey, and the marathon was the next morning, and so we went
And I think I took my time. I went to, not Creations, but Mouse Gear and shopped. Yeah. Maybe your mom stayed with me. Either way, it was a great experience. It was really good.
Yeah, but you didn't get to see the fireworks then?
I don't think so, because I think I was down to go shop.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't remember.
AJ Cadmus said, "See the Voices of Liberty." That's one we did not bring up.
Oh my gosh.
It's
there's
good.
No words.
Yep. If you don't know, well, now you know.
Yeah. If you have not actually seen a Voice of Liberty show in the lobby of the American Adventure building, American Gardens Theater, you must. It's acoustically perfect. I have never watched one of their shows without crying.
You just get chills.
It's unbelievable.
They're an a cappella group, in case you're curious. And it doesn't matter whether there's 8 or 12 of them. It doesn't matter who's singing. It is always
good. And they have albums, too. I think they go by Voctive,
right,
outside of Disney. And I listen to those in the car a lot. Gigi likes those, too. Okay, Tyler, this one's for you. Meandering Marlets says, Kirin frozen beer at Kabuki Cafe in the Japan Pavilion. A great little treat on a hot day.
I've never even heard of that.
I know.
Sounds awesome.
We need to add that to our ongoing list of things to try. I can't imagine the taste of frozen beer, though, right? Is everyone else thinking what I'm thinking? I'm like, wait, what's that taste like?
I will have to try that next time we go. I'm so curious.
I'll take a sip.
Ooh, Hannah Wilson 2. I wonder what happened to Hannah Wilson 1. Hannah Wilson 2 agrees with us. Simply hanging out in the Land Pavilion. I could do it all day.
Right?
We're not alone. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Peyton Lopez _ says, going into the back of Morocco. It's always quiet and has tons of seating. That is one of my favorite areas because you're right. There's like a block. People just don't walk all the way back there anymore. And so it's always quiet. Mm-hmm. I love that area. Mm-hmm. Oh, so much.
You feel like you can get lost in the Morocco Pavilion,
right,
which is cool.
Yes. Because
everything else, I mean, Disney is Disney. Everything's just so, and but there it almost feels, I don't know. It's cool. Yeah. Like if I were asked to draw a map of the Morocco Pavilion, I couldn't do it. I'd be like, I don't know. There's maybe a shop here. Well, but that's also like, I have no idea.
Yeah. Also, what are they doing with the Morocco, the old restaurant? They're changing it to a lounge, right?
I think so.
Is that already open?
I think so. We're obviously not your source for Disney news. We've even talked, maybe we've mentioned
this in
an
plenty of podcasts out there
that do that. And we were like, it's so much to keep up with. And it's not really what we're always obviously interested in it, but it's not really why we created our podcast. So we're not your news people.
But you know who are? The agents at People Mover Travel. That's right. They keep up with the news. They always know stuff. And they have to tell me. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even hear about that. I used to keep up with it when I was an agent because it was part of my job. But now we do this podcast, but the agents, they know everything, man. Nothing slips by them. They're amazing.
No, I know. Okay. Robin Truer Miller said, drinks of choice while kids color at KidCot.
Here you go.
Love that.
Yep.
And that's kind of hard because it's kind of like watching performers. You don't want to stop, but the kids want to color. They always have markers and stuff and seats for them to color at the KidCot station. And there were a few times this last trip where the girls wanted to like sit and color. And so we're like, all right, we're like itching to keep going, but I'm like, this is what they're enjoying.
Exactly,
so we're trying to be more and we did. We spent a lot of time at Kit
And
Kats.
Felicity just colored all over the table, and the sweet cast member's like, "Oh, it's okay."
We're so sorry.
Where are your parents?
Well, really, I'm like, we're so sorry. Do you have crayons and not markers? Because she's going to keep doing this.
I don't know if it's Katie H or Kate. Kate 106 said, living with the land.
People feel away.
Oh, that's great.
Danny M. Winch says, Flower and Garden Festival in general. Food and wine gets all the hype, but Flower and Garden Festival is better. We were there during Flower and Garden recently, and it is just so beautiful.
That's it.
And the reality is, food and wine is great, but Flower and Garden, you get all the food and wine anyway.
Yeah.
And you get these gorgeous topiaries to look at.
So, yeah.
There's literally like almost the same things, but you get the addition of beautiful topiaries, cool merch. I mean, there's obviously merch for food and wine
The butterfly garden and like the fragrance. Was it fragrance?
Things. Yeah, it was
Something-
Scentsy that did it. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful flowers.
So,
You can't take a
think
bad
there's
picture
something
during
to it.
that
No.
time. It's so pretty.
So I think you're right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Rachel Ray said, living with the land, so underrated. Wish I could bring my Marg on with me. There's some thinking there.
Oh, that is funny. It is a long ride.
You know what? We got time.
Bring my Marg on. Julie Lo Schiavo said the Akoya Pearls experience in Mitsukoshi.
We were just talking about that. Yeah, we got to do
Super
that.
fun and an awesome souvenir. Yeah, maybe we should do that.
Prioritize
soon.
that. Yeah. It always looks so fun and interesting and cool. Yeah.
Insert adjective.
Yeah. Do It Blondie said the giant German pretzels, so much better than the Mickey pretzels. We have been stung by the Mickey pretzel fallacy
too many times.
It looks good. It smells good. Tastes
not
like
great.
Salty styrofoam. Not very good. And the cheese is not right. I don't know what it is. I can't get down with it.
I need the cheese to be nacho-ier.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. And I don't want like real. I'm all in for the fake cheese. Like that's what I want.
Yeah, I
like
get it.
Like that's what I want. But it's just there's something about like the cups and they're like, they're just not right. I don't know. But they look so good, and I keep ordering them. I don't know why I keep ordering them in such vast quantities. I'm like, oh look, they have to be good. Everyone's eating them. They have to be good.
Right? They're so pretty in the picture. Okay, I am embarrassed that I did not mention this, okay? Jenna Lassiter said, the Grand Fiesta Tour does not get the love it deserves. It's a must-do for my fam every time.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't mention that. Sometimes I feel like with certain things, kind of like with Living with the Land too, it's almost not underrated anymore because we all talk about it because we all love it.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of glad that like the line for Grand Fiesta Tour is usually pretty low.
Right.
Like, that's fine. Don't let anyone else know how wonderful it is.
Right. It's like Bourdain. He used to talk about, he's like, well, this was a great restaurant. I'm not going to tell you what it's called because I don't want to ruin it. Everybody stop talking about all these things. Shh, don't let people know. Danielle on the Daily said, from my husband, taking a nap on Spaceship Earth.
Hey, and when you start going backwards on Spaceship Earth, I'm like, ooh, it's like weirdly relaxing.
Rocking you to sleep. They're trying to get you to take a nap there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got to try this next time too. Gemma Kenworthy, 28, said brioche ice cream sandwich from Les Artisans de Glace. Did I butcher it or is that okay?
Perfect.
Oh my. Brioche. I'm trying to even picture this. Tyler, hello.
Sorry.
Brioche ice cream sandwich. What? I know. I know that ice cream there is unbelievable. So we'll have to add that one to the list too. What's happening over there?
I don't know. I was trying to make the gross sound I could.
It was gross.
I got there.
I don't like it at all.
Jordan _Corin said the Mission Space Playground area, the one we were just talking about, air conditioned and great for the kids to get their wiggles out. Boom.
Get them wiggles out. I'm sorry. I've never heard of this. Sid2526 said orange creamsicle milkshake. Sunshine Seasons.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. Because at first when I saw orange creamsicle, I thought, oh, it's the Grand Marnier slushy.
Right,
like in the France Pavilion. Orange creamsicle milkshake sounds, those dreamsicle bars that was all we had growing up, I swear. Yeah. And what I really wanted back then, I loved those. Oh my gosh, I got to get some of those. Remember the push pops?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
That's what I always wanted, but my mom would never time.
There was a fantastic video that my friend Jen just sent of Samantha Brown, circa 2003. That's, I don't know if it's circulating right now or whatever, but Samantha Brown's an amazing travel show host. I love her. She's awesome. And she was in Walt Disney World like 2003, and she's talking about the Grand Marnier slush. And I'm like, I need to find this whole episode. It's got to be on YouTube somewhere, something.
Undoubtedly.
But it's great. Oh, just classic travel television. It's so good.
This is really inspiring me to want to watch some vintage Disney, like you were saying, the old Disney World planning vacation videos.
So good.
If you didn't know that was a thing, I didn't know it was a thing until I met you, and we would waste away whole afternoons watching them, and it'd be from like 1991, so everything is totally different, but it was, oh my gosh.
But see, we almost kind of talked about that when we first started this podcast, kind of going back to the news thing. We were like, our whole thing is that we just love Disney. This is something we do this podcast because it's something we just enjoy doing. So like, we're not super good about the schedule, and we miss episodes, whatever. But like, it's something we do because we love it. And like, we were like, that's what we want to get across in our podcast. Just talking about Disney, things that we love to do, things that we like. It's not necessarily a news podcast. It's not a whatever. But I always feel like those old videos, it's almost like that, like, feeling like that's what we're kind of going for.
Ooh,
like let's just talk about Disney. Let's just talk about the things we like.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other people out there doing all kinds of good stuff. This is us. This is me now. Okay, Brianna Tata said the macaron in France with lime cream.
I have to say, I'm not a big macaron fan. You like them more than I do. So I would be willing to try a bite. That would get me interested. I feel like most of the time when I have a macaron, it's like berry, whatever, generic berry. And I don't know, like it never slaps the way I want it to slap.
Yeah. I love them. They're so good.
Gigi likes them too. I am the odd man out. Everyone likes macarons.
What are those little squishy things? The little squishies that I love so much.
Yeah.
What are those called?
You think I know?
They're little squishies.
It was written in Japanese.
They're so good. They're so good.
It's a food. You buy them in the Mitsukoshi department store.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna drive me crazy, but they're like little puffs of cloud, and they're just like,
we have videos of them. We can put B-roll if you're watching the video. Yeah.
Oh, they're covered in like a powdered sugar.
Yeah,
I don't even know what. No, not powdered sugar. It's like they're covered in like what's the stuff? Corn. What's the corn powder? You make a slurry out of it. What is it called?
Slurry. Cornstarch?
Cornstarch. They're like covered in cornstarch. Anyway, they're fantastic.
Sounds delish.
But they're so impossibly soft.
I love when my candy is covered in cornstarch.
It's
nothing I love more in the morning than the taste of cornstarch.
But like you think gummies are like, oh, those gummies are soft. No, man.
No, those are pillowy soft.
Impossibly. They're made from clouds. I'm fairly certain.
I think you're right.
Oh, so good.
Okay, so the Brooke Hart Project had
she's a Disney vlogger.
Okay.
So she knows a lot.
Yes. Egg rolls at China. She's like one of 5 people that mentioned specifically the egg rolls in the China. So I don't know if that's at Lotus Blossom Cafe or at one of the carts. Maybe it's the same one at both, like if it is.
Or at 9
That Dragons. I want to try. You get your jasmine beer. I'll get egg rolls. We'll go get a meal to split at Lotus Blossom. I mean.
I am all in for this.
That sounds so good. She also said, watch the fireworks from Odyssey Bridge. Nobody do it, okay?
Don't tell anyone.
And then let your kids run in the UK maze.
Oh, yeah. With the little area in between?
Yeah. Like the little, that's like the coiffed, Oh my gosh. Love that.
All right. 2 really, really quick ones. Alice Love 3 said the new crepe restaurant in France, I feel like I don't hear anyone talk about it. That is very good.
And there's the walk-up window. You don't even have to do the restaurant if you don't want,
Right. And then Bella Daniela gave 3 good ones. She said the roast beef sandwich from Sunshine Seasons. Man, I love the land.
Ooh.
The back garden of the Japan Pavilion. It's so beautiful and serene. 100%.
So pretty.
And then the quiet back area of the UK. I love just getting a bench and sitting there. Oh, and then another one. She said the theater show at the American Adventure. Great show or place to take a nap if you're not into it. That is an underrated show. That is so good. Every time we see it, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then we watch it, I'm like, that was so good. So patriotic. Yeah. Oh, anyway. Okay. We could keep going, but awesome.
Okay, so we like to read a review. This one is from Rach Mertz 97. She said, I've been watching Tyler and Jessica's YouTube channel since 2015. Wow. and have been wanting them to start a podcast forever. I'm so happy they did because not only are they extraordinarily knowledgeable about all things Disney, but they are entertaining. They're my comfort show, and I always turn on their channel or podcast when I'm in a Disney mood, which is always.
That's awesome.
They also seem like genuinely good people. That's really nice. And I feel like we are friends in real life. I also love some good rankings videos. Keep doing your things, Bronze, because you're the best. That was so sweet. Thank you, Rach.
Awesome. All right, good podcast today. This was
fun.
This was a rich topic.
It was. It got me in the mood for Disney.
Mood for cotty ups.
That is not what I thought you said.
Anyway, on that note, thank you guys for listening and or watching, and catch you on the flippity flop.